Environmental activists have posted picture after picture of tanks at oil and gas facilities torn off their moorings, floating downstream, or clearly damaged. Their contention, chemicals from these operations may now be contaminating soil and groundwater.
We know that there is a danger of toxicology in Weld County right now. We just are working on trying to determine the extent of it.
Cliff Wilman, an anti-fracking activist, says he grew up in Boulder and Weld County, documenting the flooding impact on oil and gas operations.
We're worried that there's going to be short and long-term health potential consequences out of this.
Colorado's Department of Natural Resources says it is too soon to provide specific information about environmental impacts. State investigators say they are collecting data, assessing risks, and when necessary, will provide environmental response.
And we have thousands of facilities that are impacted.
Tisha Schuler, speaking for Colorado's oil and gas industry, says before the storm, many operators shut down production, stopping the flow of oil and gas. We asked her about some of these dramatic pictures. What was in those tanks? What's now in the waters that are flowing downstream?
The tanks that we know of were empty, and the tanks that are askew may have things like small amounts of condensate, which is a flowback water.
Is it possible that some of the chemicals fracked are going to end up being in water downstream?
We hope that our emergency response plans and the really heroic efforts of oil and gas industry are preventing any releases from affecting, but we're not going to know what's happening until the waters recede.
The devastating flooding in Colorado has claimed the lives of 5 people and left hundreds more missing. Our meteorologist Mike Seidel is in Boulder now with the latest. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, Matt. The water is still running through some of these streets here in the north side of Boulder. Behind me, you can't see it, is Boulder Canyon in the foothills, and the water is coming off the canyon because we had more rain on Sunday and Sunday night. You can see it running through the streets. But the worst of the damage, these homes. Over 19,000 homes in Colorado damaged or destroyed. A lot of these taking in a lot of mud and water. You can see the debris out here. We've got the toilet. They've just kind of ripped out the inside of the house. The box spring, there's the stove, and just personal items piled over here. Water coming down the street. Over here is where they've already plowed the street because of all the mud. That's another thing. There's mud everywhere. There was water. The water may be gone, but the mud is left behind, so a big pile of muddy dirt there. We come over here. This is one of those houses that was just hit hard. You can maybe make out the water line about 3.5 feet up on the side of the building. And the river, another channel of water, is coming right through the front yard. It's about 2 or 3 inches deep, and it comes over into this raging creek. You can only imagine what it was like out here late Wednesday night into Thursday when we had that 9 inches of rain in 24 hours. Boulder alone's had over 15 inches of rain in the past week. And keep in mind, this city only averages about 20 inches of rain all year.
They may have started on their 3-day field trip by bus, but it was National Guard helicopters that lifted off to bring home 85 fifth graders and 14 teachers and parent chaperones. There was a short bus ride today as well, from the airport to a hero's welcome at Fireside Elementary in Louisville, and a big welcome from their parents.
Once we knew things were starting to get a little hairy, it was then thinking, well, okay, we know they have food, we know they're safe, but how many days is it going to be before we get them back? So that's really where the anxiety was.
Anxious moments for many parents, but for the children, it was more of an adventure.
It was awesome. It was really fun. So parts of it were really scary, and the trails were basically rivers. Yeah. Some of it was like incredibly scary, but a lot.
The latest on those floods in Colorado, where the flood waters are receding, but rescuers have begun to put on hazmat suits. Why? ABC's meteorologist Ginger Z is right there with them.
Suiting up and going in. State police in Evans, Colorado, getting ready to brave the contaminated waters in full hazmat gear.
Sounds like the sewage system has been compromised. We don't want to take any chances.
The health hazard growing, the water infested with chemicals, sewage, and bacteria as the flooding recedes.
This is the first day that we've actually been able to see the road and the sidewalk.
That's Crystal and Mark Brophy, waiting for FEMA to assess the safety of their neighborhood.
Well, we know that there's raw sewage, there's animal waste, chemicals from people's garages.
They did get in briefly Sunday to save their pets, and it wasn't pretty.
The smell was so strong in our house, the fumes set off our smoke detectors and our carbon monoxide detector.
Today, the Colorado Health Department is urging people to stay out of that filthy water, even telling some communities to boil their tap water.
For the top view of the Colorado flood, that's what two guys from the Denver area got over the weekend. Like everyone else, they couldn't get to the flood zone by car, so they grabbed their cameras and took flight towards some unusual aircraft. Tonight they're sharing their unique vantage point only on Fox 31 Denver. It's a section of road littered with uprooted trees and pocked with gaping holes. A section of highway that's been closed to vehicles for days. But there was no stopping Nathan Finneman and his buddy Chris Montez from getting up and over the damage.
I kind of expected the destruction, but when I got in the air, it's the overall size.
The two fired up their powered paragliders and took flight along Highway 119 and I-25 east of Longmont Sunday morning at the height of the floodwaters. These aircraft fly similar to helicopters, but can maneuver just a few feet off the ground, and they give us a unique view of the damage we haven't seen before. In a sea of murky brown runoff, one of the first things the cops arrived was that little speck in the middle of this flooded field.
There's this guy in the middle of this massive flood section that had to be a quarter-mile wide. This guy on this inner tube just floating.
They were surprised someone would willingly go into these contaminated waters.
You could actually smell the water even 500 feet up in the air. You could smell the raw sewage and petroleum byproducts and everything. It was really disgusting.
All of it captured on camera aboard an aircraft so small it could fit in the back of a truck.
These guys have taken these powered paragliders on some impressive flights. In fact, Nathan's flown over France and Jamaica, but they say nothing compares to that flight they took on Sunday. You would see multiple neighborhoods, sections, and they were just all underwater. And to think that a week ago, we drove that same road, and it was gorgeous, green grass, roads that looked really good.
An unusual aerial view and an unforgettable flight over some unimaginable damage.
Really good pictures. Their powered paragliding is also known as paramotoring, and these two guys say they've been doing it for a couple of years now because they love to fly. This is one of the least expensive ways to do that, and you don't need a special license or to basically take flight almost anywhere too. So few limitations and a stunning view. Yeah, right. And a guy in the inner tube, that's just like that all week. But there's a guy on the farm field that's flooded on an inner tube like he's having fun. You don't realize what's in it.
Yeah, I know. We were just talking about this a few minutes ago. You were out next to the South Platte last night. And it has a smell to it and bugs and all sorts of stuff.
Smell the oil, you can smell the sewage. It smells like sewage anyway. It's awful. So stay out.
That's part of that problem. So, hey, showers and
chemtrails and chem clouds, it's all beefing up this mess. So I mentioned before, not to toot my own horn, that the way America didn't back this bullshit war in Syria, we should expect a lot of negative results, which I said, weather, earthquakes, and plagues. And have we been getting some earthquakes lately? That was before, I think we had a 7.0 or a couple of 7.2s off the Alaskan coast. And we had a bunch right off of Canada where that keeps happening. It's hard to fathom. Damn sure hard to get somebody to believe. But I truly don't believe this shit's an accident. I think they're trying to jeopardize and compromise the San Andreas Fault for this big Cali event, or send a tsunami to Cali. I mean, USGS has just put out a big thing warning us about this. They need catastrophes, man. They want big catastrophes, diversions. And when you see all this shit going down, and I just put a video out and put some pictures up showing you all the ULF readings. Why would they have to do all this shit if some planet was coming to graze the sun and wipe us out, or some dust was going to get up our nose from it and turn us all into meteor zombies? I don't know. You know, why would they need to do all this shit if there's some polar shift taking care of it? Why do they need to radiate it? This shit is no accident. This is a new world order at work, folks. This ain't Mother Nature. This is facade. This is genocide. But they gotta do it slow, man. 1 billion paper cuts. You know, so that we don't